And good afternoon, everybody. It's Friday. What are we doing here? This is the best doggone podcast in the land. I'm Ethan Greenberg, and alongside of me is my co-host is Heather. And actually, she's literally beside me.
We're doing it. We finally met each other, guys, and we are doing the podcast from the people that we make fun of. Right from it's my basement, though. It's not my mom's basement. So
exactly, and I don't have exactly a neck beard.
No.
Nor do I have Cheeto dust on my fingers.
Right.
But we're here,
and we have water and not Red Bull. So yeah. I guess it's yeah. It's not as exciting.
No. Do we need a 2 liter of Mountain Dew to get us going? Maybe, possibly.
Yeah, I think that would be a little bit better.
That's what's missing here. Wow. Well, folks, again, it's a Friday afternoon, and we are right in the thick of things. NFL draft.
We are. It was okay. I think it was one of the most exciting drafts that we've had in I can't remember how long, because there were some expected things that happened, but there were some unexpected things that happened, like Mr. Sanders.
Yes, Shedeur Sanders sitting at home. I guess it was better that he didn't go to the green room.
I know. I'm so glad that he stayed. It was like Joe Thomas deciding to go golf or to go fishing, and it was like the number one pick. And then Shedeur, he at least had a little bit of foresight for that.
Apparently so. What do you think the deal is with the players not going to the green room anymore, where it just became the gig to stay at home?
I think it's the fear. I think a lot of it is the fear, because look what happened. Do you remember the Shedeur? It likened it to Johnny Manziel. Do you remember that, where Johnny Manziel kept falling and falling and falling and falling? And
yeah.
It was, oh my God, where is he going to go? What is he going to do? And that's where I cannot believe he didn't get picked at all. I thought for sure that he was going to get picked by Pittsburgh. I thought for sure maybe the Giants, like Jackson Dart, you guys. Jackson Dart went before Shedeur Sanders. Jackson Dart.
It's kind of crazy that happened. And, you also talk about people falling and sitting in the green room.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers sitting in the green room too.
Well, what a weirdo he turned out to be.
Right, and we know.
Yeah. So that was okay.
But yeah, the Giant, you thought for sure, okay, Sanders. All right, when you looked at it, we all knew going into last night who the quarterback needy teams were.
Yeah, we knew.
We knew that it was the Browns.
Right. It was the Titans. Let's just take the Titans out of the mix, because they did exactly what they were supposed to do, and they got Cam Ward. Like that was of all of the non-surprises, that was the most non-surprise ever.
Right, exactly. Everybody knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Even for weeks, even before they said, we've made our decision, we're not trading our pick. You knew that's who they were going to go to.
Right. What
happens to Will Levis now? Maybe he'll be the Saints quarterback, since the Saints have nobody except for Spencer Rattler.
Right now, Spencer Rattler, what are the Saints doing? Like, what are they doing? I don't.
Maybe they're adopting the Browns thing, waiting for next year.
Well, yeah, there's always next year. But honestly, okay, but that actually begs the question. Do you think that some of these teams are waiting for next year because the quarterback room is so much better next year than it was this year? Do you think that maybe they're going to try to take a risk on getting an older veteran, Joe Flacco, and maybe a late round quarterback like Will Howard, or I would have thought Jackson Dart, but now like a Shedeur, maybe are they going to try to get like a lightning in a bottle and get a later pick, and then hope they get like one of the 47 quarterbacks that are going to enter the draft next year?
It's a good question, and like you said, it's a risk. It is a big risk. So
yes.
And I think what we can do is we can talk about what the Browns did, and we can talk about that risk.
Yes.
So that was a huge surprise, and Heather. This is hilarious.
Okay, we're having technical difficulties, you guys. So I literally, my laptop just said no. So Ethan and I are going to do this side by side here.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
I think, I hope that it's coming out, and I hope that.
What fun would it be if we didn't have technical difficulties, you guys? So we're back. I'm back. Here we are. So we were talking about
the quarterbacks and the Browns and taking the risk of not selecting somebody and trading picks and hoping for the next year. Right. Yeah. So the Browns said, okay, we're not going to take the quarterback at 2. We are going to risk it. We're going to make this trade with the Jaguars and let them get whoever. They're not going after a quarterback. Now, what we're hoping is the Browns are saying, okay, we don't like these guys. Now, in the trade, they did something even better than a team like New Orleans because they have picked up an extra first-round pick next year.
Yeah. So for those of you, I'm sure everybody who's watching this knows, but the Browns really did fleece the Jags. They fleeced them. So the Browns traded away. They gave away their number 2 overall. They gave away a 4th-round pick and a 6th-round pick. So they gave away 2, 104, and 200. In return, they got number 5. They got pick number 36. They got pick number 126. And they got Jacksonville's first-round pick next year.
Right. And as you and I discussed, the last time the Browns did something of this nature was when they traded with the Texans, and the Texans used to pick on Deshaun Watson.
How ironic. Why is he at the center of the good trades or the bad trades?
I don't know. This is ridiculous. So they make that trade. And then they were starting out. They actually weren't playing badly. The Texans weren't that year, but Watson got injured.
What?
I know. Achilles.
What?
I guess that's really his Achilles.
This is Achilles.
Yeah. So that turned into Denzel Ward.
It did.
That was the number 4 pick.
And you can make the argument that Denzel Ward gets hurt, but he's a corner that plays. He gives it he plays hard. So he is going to get, and he gets a lot of soft tissue. He gets, some ankle.
He
bounces back. He does.
Right. He sticks his nose in there. He's not afraid. He plays football.
Right.
So the point being, when you take a move like this, a swing like the Browns did, they said, okay, we're going to pass on these guys because we don't love them.
Right.
We're going to take this Jacksonville pick. Now, here's the quandary, Heather.
Okay.
What if the quarterback class next year isn't that good? And we end up winning just enough games that we're not a high draft pick. And let's say Jacksonville's not a super high draft pick. But there's only one really super duper good quarterback. What are you going to do then?
Then you're going to have to trade away. You're going to have to make another ridiculous deal like you did with Deshaun Watson. I think it's a gamble. I think it's a gamble worth taking because is it possible that the quarterback room isn't going to be as good as we think? It's possible. Is it probable? No, I don't think it's probable because you have a lot of strong, and some of them are underclassmen. Some of them are going to declare early, like, Arch Manning, if he is who he is.
He may.
Yeah, he may because he can.
He could. The good thing for him, though, and a lot of these players, it's kind of surprising how many underclassmen there are considering now they have NIL. So they don't have as much of a reason to say, I got to go make money.
No, but the quarterbacks can make some bank. So they are going to declare a little bit. They are going to declare early. Now, I think that this year was a good example of some of the quarterbacks that fell off the map. Everybody had at the beginning of the year, Quinn Ewers was the next coming.
And Carson
Beck. They were going to be first rounders. They were going to be Heisman contenders. They were going to be everything. And Quinn Ewers, the deeper it got into the season, the worse he got.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if Carson Beck's injury or I think it was his ego that got in the way. And now he's going to be in Miami, right?
Yeah. So he transferred. He goes to the U.
The U.
Yeah.
Where his girlfriend goes, and he's already like a bro. I don't think this is going to help him. I don't think that this is going to help his draft stock. So yeah, so there is that possibility, but I do think that next year is a better. This is a gamble that I'm okay taking.
I'm definitely okay with it as a Browns fan.
Right.
I think they made the right move, and quite frankly, it should be a further sign that they made the right move in that the only other quarterback that went in the first round was Jackson Dart to the Giants.
They traded up for him.
And didn't take Shedeur.
No, they did not.
A second time in the round.
Correct. So, let me ask you this. Okay. Everything that we read, all of the mock drafts, all of the scouting, all of the experts, McShay, Kuiper, all of them, everybody. Shedeur's the guy. He's got the upside. But what did the scouts see that the GMs and the coaches and the quarterback coaches, the offensive coordinators, the head coaches, the general managers of these NFL teams, what did they not see that so the scouts looked at raw talent probably, right? Like they looked at game film. What did they see?
What did they learn from behind the scenes? They pulled back the curtains.
Yes.
And they saw something. They talked to somebody and learned something. But you know what, though? Let me ask an interesting question. We so often seem like, how did the Browns end up with Johnny Manziel besides the homeless guy telling them to draft him? Because if they had pulled back the curtains, they would have known some of what was going on.
But in all fairness, we have a long history of screwing the pooch. On that.
Right.
So, I was, and honest to God, when we drafted Baker, at first I thought Johnny Manziel 2.0.
Just because of the stature, the mere stature.
Well, and not only that, but Baker was just like a bro, man. Like he was so cocky and he was this. The difference is that Baker put time in. He practiced. He put the time in looking at game film. Johnny Manziel didn't look at a single second of film.
In fact, it's
zero. If anybody has not watched that documentary, it's fascinating because his raw talent carried him that far. Could you imagine? Like, I want to go kick him in the shin for this because he could have been. So I want to go kick him in the Achilles for this because he could have been so good if he had just put 50% effort in.
Yeah, but again, how in the world does some of these GMs draft these guys? Well, like, again, I'm sorry, the Browns. They didn't even.
We keep going back to the Browns, you guys.
Because
number one, it's what we know, and number two, there's just lots of material.
They are just a comedy of errors. They didn't even talk to Justin Gilbert.
They did not.
In that same draft with Johnny Manziel, they took Justin Gilbert and didn't even talk to him.
Correct.
So I can't fathom.
No.
How you don't talk to all the people around these kids. They are kids.
And that's what we lose sight of. So I'm just going to get on we didn't get to do our nuclear rant on your show on Tuesday.
We didn't.
So this is what aggravates me so bad. This is my rant, is that when we're watching college and you see a 19-year-old kid, and granted, Jeremiah Smith, 18 years old. Granted, he's making millions of dollars in NIL money, but he's 18. And he misses a pass, or he misses a catch, like he blows a coverage or blows a route or whatever he does, makes a mistake. Immediately, people are on there calling him names and death threats, and these kids get death threats.
It's crazy.
And I say, like, stop it. They're kids. And they're like, he's a man. Just because you're wealthy does not make you a man. It doesn't make you a man. They're kids. So they're still learning all of this. They're still learning life. They're still learning how to be really good at their job. When you were 22, fresh out of college, I don't care if you were a straight A student, you're still learning your way in the world. You're still learning how to be functional as an adult. And these kids are kids. They are 22 years old, and there are exceptions, right? There are some that are in their later 20s or mid 20s, I should say. Yeah. But these are kids for the most part. They're still learning their way. So let's cut them a little bit of slack.
Right. I think Tyler Shuck is getting Social Security.
He is. he's already on Social Security.
No,
right. And he's Medicare.
But even, do you realize, Heather, this whole thing with tracking down players and threatening them, wasn't it
wild?
Was it Ben Hartsock that dropped the pass against Texas and Vince Young?
Yeah.
Can you believe that I was attending a wedding that day? I'm like,
who gets married on?
Who schedules it on a Buckeye Sunday?
Right. Who does that?
Or a Saturday.
No, I know what you meant, Saturday. Like, you don't do anything on weekends during football season.
I know.
And you don't do anything on playoffs. So ladies out there, it's not just ladies are the ones that really choose the wedding dates. Don't do that. Because I'm not going to a wedding are you kidding me? Like, if anybody schedules a wedding on week 1 when Ohio State plays Texas, I'm going to have to politely decline that. I'm sorry. That's a no RSVP for me. That's a no for me, dog.
I think it's good to be honest. You got to know the crowd.
I'll send a card.
Yeah, so
I'm not going to your reception.
Condolences.
Yeah, correct. Good luck on your marriage. I don't think it's going to start out real well, but
exactly. When half the people in attendance have an earbud, an
AirPod
in
their phone, they're like, oh no, what? I'm sorry, what?
Exactly.
It is an open bar though, so maybe I would go and
you never know.
My phone.
It's a possibility. Yeah. It is a possibility. Is it better to be in attendance and not be attentive than to not be in attendance at all?
I think I would have to be not in attendance because I'm so insane.
Let me share this story with the fans out here, because and sharing this to you face to face. One time, not being attentive and being sucked into sports, that was not a good experience on a first date with somebody. This is back in college.
Okay.
I met somebody. If you're old enough to be watching this and know AOL Instant Messenger,
AIM.
Heck yeah. I'm at Kent State. I meet someone up at Baldwin Wallace.
Okay.
So first of all, I'm driving, and this is story time. I know this is way off topic.
Story time, guys. This is what you get with us.
This is way off topic. So I'm driving up there. Got a speeding ticket on the way.
Okay. So you're already starting it out.
I don't know.
We're at a disadvantage here.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Then the Kent State was playing Penn State in basketball in the NIT.
Oh.
And we went to Fridays.
Oh my God. Okay.
And I'm like, where they're going to sit us, one seat is facing a TV, the other is not. I was like, do you want to sit over here? And I'll sit here. I was like, I did not want to watch the TV because I knew. You
knew that you were going to be. And what was she like? No, this is.
She's like, no, you sit here. You sit over. I had to face TV. And
that's where there was not a second date.
No, there was not. No, there was not.
Okay, but like, did you want to be with someone like that? Like, sports matter. And if you're not with someone, I don't know how people do. I don't know how women do it. I don't know how men do it. If you're not with someone who is, you don't have to be passionate. Like you don't have to be insane like me, but I want you to say, hey, the Cavs are on tomorrow at 1:00. That's what my plans are.
Yes.
It's the playoffs. No, I'm at playoffs.
Playoffs. Practice. Yeah. I think that's, my wife, she's very understanding of when the sports are on.
Right.
She knows. And
yeah,
that's just a thing.
Yes.
It's very respectful. So I appreciate that very much. If she's watching, which she's at work, so she's not watching this, but that's okay. If she catches it on the replay, she can know. You're saying something good. Yeah. You're like, she's very understanding. And that's the thing. Like, you have to be understanding. You have to do not ask me, especially during football season. I'll miss a Browns game if I have to, but especially during football season on Saturday, my plans revolve around whatever their schedule is, whatever Ohio State schedule is. And I'm going to be completely candid with you. If it's a top 10 matchup on any team, nope, I'm sorry. I'm busy Saturday night because I'm watching the game of the week. Thank you. You can come over to my house. I put on a hell of a spread. Hey, everybody is welcome to come over, but I'm not going anywhere unless I'm going to a place to watch the game. Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And so the draft is must-see TV. The draft is must-see TV. So let's okay. Before we talk about the second round and all of the fun things that are happening tonight, we're going to get back into this, guys. Yes. Who was your home run pick of the first round? Wow, the home run pick. I really think that I can't say we knew Cam Ward was going.
Correct. That's not a surprise.
We knew Travis Hunter was going too.
Mm-hmm.
We thought it was going to be with the Browns, but it goes to the Jags.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a home run. There's a lot, there's some stuff.
Who's going to throw to him, really?
Trevor Lawrence can be good. They've got a first-year coach.
Well, and if he can stay protected.
That's, yes, very true. They've got some weapons.
Yeah.
They do have some weapons. I think that the Ravens certainly.
Yeah, there were two that we talked about.
Yes, the Ravens did themselves a great favor. Malachi Starks, they know how to find safeties.
Yes,
they
nailed it.
They did a very good job with that. I actually think that were you surprised Colston Loveland went before Tyler Warren?
I was shocked, actually. But I wondered, and looking back at that, I wondered if it was just simply for the fact of there were no other weapons really for Aller. Penn State was one-dimensional. Their tight end was their leading receiver. So I was wondering if it was just because of the he's going to have to share the ball. I think he's a great tight end. I think the Colts freaking nailed it with that pick. I think he's going to be very good.
What did the Chill Mike say? He
said, you know what? I'll have to look. I think that they love that.
I think that's great. But who's going to throw to him? Oh, Danny 2 cents, Danny 2 pennies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anthony, right. I'm going to sit this one out, Richardson.
Right. We'll have to, Mike, if you're watching on the replay, we'll have to, how did you guys feel about that as Colts fans? Right. But I saw on X and everything was good.
I think those are some definitely some of the good picks. I think, like we talked about, Malachi Starks. What did Simmons at the end of the first round? The Ohio State, the offensive lineman.
They went boom, 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 like Ohio State all of a sudden. Four players, but Ohio State players. I was excited that Tyleik Williams was picked. Like Tyleik was.
Yes,
I loved him. I loved Tyleik. He was great, but I was actually very surprised because he was hurt. Not Tyleik, but
Simmons.
But yeah, he was hurt. So,
No, I think they came away well. Tyleik Williams over to the Lions. You pair him up with Aiden Hutchinson.
Oh, I agree. That is sick. That is sick.
It is. Washington, I guess, give a little protection there with another offensive lineman. He was one of the top offensive linemen, Josh Connerly out of Oregon. Yeah. And Green Bay finally drafts a receiver. That's
okay. So to put that into perspective, why that was such a big deal, the last time Green Bay drafted a wide receiver in the first round was 2002.
So
2002.
Aaron, as they said on the broadcast, Aaron Rodgers somewhere is like,
hello, where were you guys helping me? Yeah.
Right. That is absolutely crazy. I think there were a lot of picks were pretty predictable.
There were some that were predictable, but there were some that Jackson Dart. I'm sorry, that was not predictable. No one was saying that Jackson Dart wasn't going to go and seeing him get traded up for and going over Shador again. I think that Jackson Dart was a big surprise. I was surprised to see Emeka Egbuka go to Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield's got a lot of weapons now. He's got a lot of weapons now. And Baker is, the Baker Bros were cheering in Donovan and the Deshaun, we're not going to say what we call them, but the Deshaun lovers. Everybody was kind of going at it because you either hate Baker or you love Baker. And I don't have any animosity towards him at all. Let him live, man. He didn't do anything wrong, but we could talk about that another day. But that Baker is mediocre, but a mediocre quarterback with all of those weapons is still better than a Deshaun with.
Right. Well, at the end of the day, what we saw in Cleveland with Baker Mayfield, he had a lot of growing to do as a person.
Yeah.
And he did that. And he had to have some humble pie along the way.
Yeah, he did. He had to learn.
He had some humble pie along the way. The failure in Carolina.
Yeah.
He had a quick stop in LA, but they weren't keeping him around. And then when he went to Tampa Bay, they said, we're going to have you challenge Kyle Trask, who was a rookie.
Kyle Trask, I forgot about him.
And I couldn't believe they were even asking them to have a competition, although from the reports from training camp where the passes were horrible. The videos were ridiculous, but he has turned it around. So
he needed to, again, he was a kid, and he's a husband and he's a dad now, and he's just grown up.
Yeah, he had to get away from the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh God.
Had you forgotten those stories?
No, I haven't actually forgotten those stories, but Cleveland's got a story for everything. Boy, we have a
thing with restaurants. We Denny's menus, Cheesecake Factories, crab legs.
We do love crab legs. I love and what a fun guy. You know,
he had his own run-ins, but that shows you that a person can kind of turn it around.
They can. Again, it shows what happens when you're a young, dumb kid. We've all done things. The thing is that we weren't on the national stage, and in our age, we didn't have social media back then.
Right.
So we didn't have someone with a phone in our face all the time. Because I promise you guys see what I post all the time now. If I had this platform, I wouldn't be gainfully employed like I am now. There would be a lot of erasing everything that I had posted. So
Steve, we're a little shocked, hoping Simmons would be there for the Browns in the second round. So we were literally texting about
we were texting about that during that. So that actually is a good segue into the. So where do you think that the Browns are going to? They have the first pick of the second round.
Yes, tonight.
Who are they going to pick?
I went to sleep last night thinking about it, and the more I had a chance, and I was thinking, all right, they got to go quarterback, right? Wrong. I don't think so.
I don't either.
Here's my theory, and you tell me if I'm off my rocker or not. My theory is this: Jimmy Haslam basically said to the guys, "Look, you're not on a short leash here. We had this complete failure." He said, "I'm taking responsibility for the Deshaun Watson disaster," right? Because he greenlit it.
Yeah.
And he may have pushed it across the finish line, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So he says, look, you guys, you do not have to force a quarterback. I do not want you to. They may have gone to him and said, look, this quarterback class is not so good. We shouldn't force it. He's like, okay, let's build everything else up.
Right.
So they say, all right, now we're not going to draft a quarterback at 2. Then they say, hey, you know what? And they talked about this. I was listening to Cleveland Browns Daily today, and they're talking about they had about 5 players plus an asterisk of, I think, blue chip players. I think it was Campbell, Genty, Hunter, Ward, and Graham.
Okay.
And maybe one other person. But the bottom line is they knew Ward was with the asterisk, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then they trade with Jacksonville. It's like, okay, you can take Hunter. But we, as you said, we only moved down 3 picks. And we got their second round pick this year.
Right.
And then we get their first round next year.
Right.
So going back to where I started, I think that they're not in a hurry or in a rush to grab a quarterback.
I don't think that they are.
No, they've got so many holes to fill. I could perceive them or see them going for a running back. They need offensive weapons, a running back, a wide receiver. Would you be shocked if they went maybe like a running back such as Judkins, Henderson?
Or Henderson. I do think that Henderson or Judkins is the best running backs that are available now.
I do too.
I personally, I think we're going to go with Luther Burden.
I think so as well. We've got to get more threats because right now it's Jerry Jeudy and Jerry Jeudy.
It's Jerry Jeudy.
It's Jerry Jeudy.
It really truly is Jerry Jeudy. So I do think that they go with a Luther Burden. Would I be upset if they went with a Judkins or a Henderson? No, I'm not saying this is a homer. No, because they also need a running back because like we talked about on Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday.
Yes.
It was. We have Nick Chubb, and Nick Chubb still at 75% is better than a lot of players at 100%. But he can't carry the whole entire load.
Right.
And who else do we have? Ford? Like, we can't go into this year. So I think that we need to, I like the strategy of building players around a quarterback and maybe, I don't want to say tanking for next year because I don't think that's what we're trying to do.
Right.
I think we're trying to build a stronger, maybe take like a look at what Washington has done.
Right.
They quietly drafted a lot of really good players.
Yeah. Washington did a fantastic job of rebuilding. Now, part of that was they got rid of the owner,
and they got everybody, and then they got someone in that cared.
Yeah, they fixed everything there.
I feel like the Haslams care.
They do.
I don't think that they did this Deshaun trade to screw us all.
No.
They genuinely did what they thought. They spent the farm. They blew every single one of their dollar. They're like, how much do you need? Here's an open checkbook. Go get the players that you think are going to make this a winning franchise. And we blew it like we always do, but the intent was there. Yeah. So I think that as long as the Haslams own the Browns, I think we're going to be okay in that they want to win.
They are investing it. They put their money where their mouth is. Maybe we don't like them running their mouths or talking to homeless people, but that's okay. These things happen. You take bad advice.
Right. You do. You
learn. So I think at 33, you're right. They might go Luther Burden because there's a bunch of running backs.
There are a bunch of running backs. So if you don't get, and plus, you guys, they have the 36.
From Jacksonville.
Correct. So it's almost like you're drafting, let's put it into perspective of a fantasy draft. If you're in a 10-man team and you're the 8th pick, like you can go a little bit, like maybe try to get that home run on, because you're going to come right back around. So the Browns take a wide receiver. I don't think Houston's taking a wide receiver. I'm sorry, a running back. I just don't.
Yeah, because they have Pierce, right? They have Pierce. Damian Pierce.
But I think that they have some offensive line needs.
Yeah, and that's another interesting question, though. There are very few good the offensive linemen and what the best available are. That's an issue. The Browns need to start getting younger there. We don't know what Zach Zinter is going to be. He did not play well in his rookie season, but he was thrown into the fire.
He was.
And we were also playing a weird scheme.
We were like we talked about Tuesday again. We were throwing things just to see if they would stick because it was such a cluster. So I think that if we went Luther Burden, I think that there would be a running back available in a couple of extra picks.
Now let me ask
3 extra,
Right. And so there's another possibility out there, and I'm sure in the next few hours we're going to hear about trading down a few more picks.
Yeah.
Add another third round.
Yeah, I think that that's a very, very real possibility.
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to be as aggressive to get that 33rd pick as they were to get, if teams are going to be as that aggressive.
Right. And I don't know that they are, though. It's going to be a tough sell. The only way I could have seen that happening is if they bluff somebody that needs a quarterback.
Yeah. And we're going to take
Shador or Milrow or whatever, or Shuck or whoever you want.
Yeah.
We're going to take them and you're not going to be there because the Saints haven't answered their quarterback situation.
They have not.
The Steelers,
the Steelers haven't answered their, do they have so we went to lunch today. So maybe they have some kind of deal with Rodgers that we don't know about.
Yeah.
But again, Rodgers is older. The Steelers need a quarterback. There is something that these teams are or are not seeing with Shador. Is it the circus that comes with it? Maybe they don't want to deal with that. I don't know because he doesn't seem like he has bad character.
Right.
But you don't know. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
Yeah, it's really crazy when you think about it. And you again, to use that phrase, pulling back the curtain and seeing what's going on over there and what do they really like? Because then we always talk about this, meeting your heroes, meeting your sport or whatever.
You do.
And then you find out what they're really like and you're like, oh.
Yes. Yeah. There are it's that you idolize them, whatever, however, even as an adult, you guys know I fangirl. If Isaac Okoro had been a jerk, I would have been crushed. My soul would have been crushed. And that's just Greg Newsome is a good example because, people, they shit on him, but he is in person. And honestly, like some of the conversations that he and I have had, he is the nicest person that he's funny. He's kind. He is very generous. Like he was just very nice.
That's amazing. And I can vouch for Newsome. I didn't really talk to him per se, but I do have a picture with him. He was very kind and to stop and take a picture at the ESPN Cleveland block party year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I can vouch for that. I mean, no, he's
been nothing but nice. So
he has, and he gets crapped
He
on.
does. He really does. I hate that. I hate that. And I know I'm talking about it. So anybody that's listening is probably gonna.
It's tough to be, but there's a lot of expectations. He was a first rounder,
He was.
And everybody has high expectations.
Well, especially of a corner.
Mm-hmm. And he came out pretty strong, then he's kind of fallen off a little.
He's regressed a little.
He's regressed to the mean.
Yeah.
He's regressed to the mean.
I agree.
So I don't know what's going to happen at 33. I could see any option, but I do think if the Browns pick, I do not think it will be a quarterback.
I don't either. I think I'm going on record. It's going to be a wide receiver. I think it's going to be probably Luther Burden.
All right. Well,
and then there's character problem. Who has character problems? Because let's bring them on to Cleveland.
Right.
We love projects.
We're going to get Isaiah Bond.
We are.
Bond. Isaiah Bond. He likes to shake down his women, not stir them. No,
oh God, I love it here. No, it's true. It's true. We'll take him.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We love a good project here.
But I could see.
We love a good redemption arc.
Right. So let's talk about the quarterbacks that are remaining. Just as we think out loud of teams that need them and who might go after whom. Right now, we're talking about Milrose, Sanders, Shuck, Ewers, McCord, Howard.
Yeah.
None of these people are expected to be starters from day one.
No.
Do you think that any of them will go in round 2? Or
yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think so. I'm probably wrong. Okay, let me walk that back a minute. If you had asked me yesterday, I would have said yes for sure. But then when I saw who wasn't taken and who Dart was taken, maybe not. Maybe we're looking at round 3 and 4 for some of these guys because they're gambling. I think some of these teams are gambling on who's still going to be available.
That's true. And that goes back to our discussion about the Browns. They're saying, look, if we don't get one of these guys, we can get somebody later. Somebody will be around in the 3rd, 4th round. There's not going to be that big of a run on him.
Right.
Quinn Ewers is going to, hey, we're going to have Quinn Ewers. I like he got much better when he got rid of the mullet.
He did well until he got to the playoffs, until he got to the postseason. Then he struggled a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. But I think so. Another thing for me, I think, is where you can gamble on the quarterbacks is there are several positions. So we were talking about offensive guards, like our linemen. There is such a massive drop off. So do you go after those guys first to get the higher and the safeties? It's a very weak safety class. So do you go? It's the safeties who are really high ranked, and then there's a massive
everybody else.
Yeah, and there's a massive cliff. So do you go after those? There were a lot of offensive, linemen that were taken in the first round that I didn't, nobody probably expected to be that high, but. So do you go after those, BPAs and then risk that a quarterback is still that a Howard is still going to be there, that a Milroe is still going to be there? And I think that might be the strategy this year because there's such a drop off.
I think
on some of the positions.
Offensive line is not a deep.
No,
class. We talked about this with which position groups are deep. The running back is
really deep.
Really deep.
Edges are pretty deep this year. So safeties. Guards.
Yeah, very difficult.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
I think so. Let me ask you this. We talked about, from the Browns' perspective, fleecing Jacksonville on the pick. What do you think about Mason Graham? I
like Mason Graham. He's good. All joking aside, out of Michigan.
Right.
But he was really good.
He was. And I think that you combine him with a Michael Hall.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Michael Hall combination. I think that's a good, they're going to play each other and they're going to hate each other, but I think that's a good combo.
Along with Myles Garrett. Now, so let me ask you this question. When they re-signed Myles Garrett, now he was kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. He didn't have as much leverage as he wanted to make it out to be about getting traded.
Nope. He had zero. They said, we're not trading you. So you're either going to sit or
right. So
we'll let you sit and rust.
But he says, well, we talked. And he knew the plan. Do you think his plan was, hey, they're going to get me somebody help on the defensive line, and we're going to have Kenny Pickett?
Kenny Pickett was not on his bingo card. I don't think he was worried about that. I do think that they probably did talk to him about who they were going to target in the draft this year, and we're going to try to get you another elite edge, and we're going to get, maybe a pass rusher.
Yeah.
Or,
and
someone else to help.
Because he talked to Bo Bishop and Nathan Zagura, and he said something about getting younger at the quarterback.
Yeah.
And he made it sound like they were going to make a move. So does that necessarily mean they were going to get them early or later? It sounds like it's going to be later.
Yeah.
All right. And let me ask you this question. Out of the people that are left, knowing that they're all kind of projects, they've got their own issues. Out of the quarterbacks, who would you think the Browns would be best getting?
Okay, so for the Browns,
yes.
I'm gonna get dunked on for this. Milroe.
I don't think you're wrong. He has the most upside out of it.
He really does have the most upside for me. And I think that he's going to fit into that offense a little bit better than any of the other quarterbacks that are available.
We talked to Lance about this on Going Nuclear on Tuesday night. And he talked about the fact that Kevin doesn't well with quarterbacks that improvise. And that's what Milroe's going to do. But I think if he's a willing learner, I think
he's a willing learner.
Right. And Tommy Rees knows him.
Correct. And I don't think that DeBoer was very good at acclimating to changing play calling, or the play call was the play call. He just looked so uncomfortable in almost every play, but then there were flashes of brilliance that you saw. So I think he's got it there, and he played in a very hard conference against very good teams.
Elite talent.
Elite defenses he was going up against. And you look at, what was it, the Georgia game where Georgia scored like 170 points in the first half, but they still almost lost because Alabama came back in that second half. So he has the skill, he has the capability. I think that with the right coaches and the right mindset, he can be the second string. I mean, he's not going to be the guy that leads us, but in this draft, I think he's the strongest for the Browns.
I would definitely love to see him for the Browns. If they could get him at 67, that would be amazing.
Yep. That would be that would be a pick. That would be a steal. Again,
the biggest thing that people were not upset, but were talking about was his lack of accuracy, his passing.
Right.
Okay. Josh Allen was horrible as a rookie out of college. He was horrible.
Right.
If you can get him right, if you actually can coach him, that's a question mark.
Right.
But if you can actually teach him well and not have some jabroni.
Oh my gosh, now we're talking. I haven't heard that in a long time. Oh, nice reference.
I'm always talking about the old jabronis there.
Yeah.
But as long as you're not talking about like someone like Quincy Avery trying to coach I saw him posting a tweet something, and I'm like, sir,
go away. Go away into oblivion.
Yeah, please, just go away, dog.
Yes, exactly. Give me my money.
Where's my money?
Where's my money?
Oh, you got money for a costume over there? Got him disguised? Where's my money? Where's my money, dog? Oh my God! Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I had to go. Family Guy references here. Anytime you need a Family Guy, just like when Peter Griffin told you all the things that all the receivers.
What grinds my gears?
What grinds your gears? All the things that he would rather take, or would he take this versus
a Discover card.
Exactly. Versus a Discover card or a drunken high Josh Gordon, in our case, the wide receiver class. So I don't know.
Josh Gordon lost in some of those, though.
He did, but it was very
it was more Josh Gordon than anybody else, and that should tell you
how bad we've been at drafting wide receivers. So hopefully Luther Burden would not be the next.
Right.
I think, do you have any other sense of who might fit with whom? In terms of the quarterback position, because we were talking, I mean, it seems like Pittsburgh, if they go after somebody, they're not going to.
I hate to say this. I think a Will Howard would fit with the Pittsburgh.
He would, but he won't do anything.
Will Howard needs maybe Will Howard would fit in with like a New Orleans, like a Saints. He's mobile. And they already have a good running game. So
yeah, I could.
Ultimately, here's the thing.
Okay.
I don't think any of the quarterbacks that are available are the guy.
Nope.
I just don't.
No, I barely think Cam Ward is the guy.
So do I. I think Cam Ward
was the best of what was available.
The best of a not so great class.
Yeah, and I think he'll be fine, but we'll see how that goes. All of these things, it's funny. You were talking about Mel Kiper and him going crazy about the Shedeur Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
But then even we talked about it with Lance Reisland. He was talking about, I was so wrong about this last year. You know, I would never peg Bo Nix to do what he did. So you really don't know. It's always fun. It's always funny to go back and check out the film and find out what these people said and how wrong they were. I know there were people who were wrong about Johnny Manziel.
There were a lot of people wrong about Johnny Manziel. But like, look at Washington's quarterback, Jaden Daniels.
I had no idea.
No
idea.
And I think that even the people who were like higher up on him didn't think he was going to have the career that he did.
And as fast as he did to have it come out that way, and it's a crapshoot. And so the key to any of this is part of it is the player, part of it is the coaching and the system. Sometimes you get a player in the wrong place and it just doesn't
translate.
No, it doesn't work. And then you get hosed because you're like, am I ever going to get a second chance? And then the higher draft picks, they get more chances than someone picked in the 5th, 6th, 7th round.
Right.
So it's really tough like that.
And this is where I think, and I will die on this hill. The first round is fun, but those are the players that they're going to be your home run players. Where you nail it is day 2 and day 3. This is where I think day 2, this is where you nail it. These are where you get your players. So as much as I love watching the first round, it's all fun and it's great. And it's like, oh, who's going to go next? Now it's like, you're looking at, okay, Luther Burden does, he's got these intangibles and he needs these things to work on. And you talk about like your running backs, like your Quinshons and your Trevions, like who do you want? Because this is where you get your playmakers.
It is. Yeah. You get the guys that are going to be
your workhorses.
Your workhorses. Well, if I have it correct, then maybe I'm misremembering and I shouldn't shoot from the hip, but it seems like a guy like Joel Bitonio for the Browns. He wasn't a first round pick.
But it's not a sexy pick.
It's not. Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like these unsexy pick sixes. This is what I'm used to with Cleveland. These unsexy picks are the ones that turn out to be the best. And this is where you shine in this. Michael Hall. He was a good DeJuan Jones.
Yep.
DeJuan Jones went late and he slid into a role that he was uncomfortable with, but he really nailed it until he got hurt.
Right.
But I think he's going to be fine. I think he's as big as a tree.
He needs to stay healthy.
Yes.
And keep his weight under control.
He does, because he's a tree. He's a sequoia tree.
Right. And hopefully for the Browns, the new offensive line coach, Bloomgren will bring.
And I think he will.
He's a Callahan disciple. So if you're a Browns fan and you thought Bill Callahan did a great job with the offensive line, we did. Right. I think that's a good thing. So this is going to be a great night and you know what worked out even better, Heather? It's not on the same day as the Cavs.
It's not. This is fantastic. Although you've personally seen my setup now, so it's okay. He's got to personally see the setup with the three.
It's impressive. I got to tell you, folks, it's a sports bar in here. It's very impressive.
Because I do have a TV that I can bring downstairs and sit under the shelf. I have a 4th TV that's mobile TV that I can bring down.
I like that. This is going a little bit away from the days when you had to roll your TV in on the cart.
When you had the TV with like this big and 725 pounds.
And it was a third.
The screen was this big. It was a 13-inch TV, but it was a 70-inch setup.
And
if you wanted to get it out, you had to like take a saw to it because you couldn't carry that thing.
Those things, those are backbreakers right there. No, I think, and she's got a server. It's a little bit furry. You have to watch out for some fuzz there, but she'll stroll along. She'll make it eventually with the tray of drinks to you.
She didn't even yell at you. Like he came in and he had a treat for her and that was it. They were best friends.
So, what can I say?
And she's up there being quiet and fine. She's like, just leave me alone.
It's like, remember, is she a mog?
Is she?
Barf, man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
Yes.
Oh boy, random movie quotes here.
Yep.
Well, I think the draft is going to be great. We're going to have a lot to see what happens here.
I'm really excited.
At the draft party at the stadium, there was a lot of people who were not so happy, myself included, initially. But we're gonna come around to it, and you really don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It takes a couple of years for you to know if it's going to be a bust or not, because they can have a great rookie year and they can come in and they can have the worst sophomore slump of their life. So it takes a couple of years to know if these are home runs.
Yep. Okay, Mike, thank you for tuning in.
There are teams that are looking to trade up, and I think the Saints are probably one of them.
Yeah, they need a quarterback.
They need a quarterback.
I mean, they're right there. They're not that far down, but if they think the Browns,
but if they think someone's going to take,
yep, they are going to be willing to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we move on to our next topic, let's just take a brief moment here so that we can thank our sponsors. You are tuned in to the Best Doggone Podcast in the Land with Ethan and Heather here on the Fanatical Elves Network, a part of Fans First Sports Network. And welcome back here to the Best Doggone Podcast in the Land. I think that we need some music in the interlude there. They can cut it out in the edit. No, I won't do that. I won't do that, John. And while we're talking, John Suchan, who heads up the Fanatical Elves Network, met him last night up at the stadium, and one of his sons, a great guy. Thankful for him. I got to meet Lou Marconi. If you don't watch all the podcasts that are part of this group, you can listen to the podcast on all your favorite podcast platforms. You can catch them later, Odyssey, Spotify, Apple, all of those types of things. Exactly. So just if you miss us here, keep an eye on that. You could please like and subscribe on YouTube.
Yes, please.
To the Fanatical Elves, to the Elves Network. Like and subscribe to the Best Doggone Podcast in the Land. All of these things, we really appreciate it.
Yep.
So, okay, as we were talking about, the Cavs are not playing tonight, which is so nice.
They are not playing tonight. It's going to be a stress-free night for me. It's going to be fantastic.
It will be.
Got a little Guardians baseball, got the draft. I got some major softball games going tonight. Some big-time softball games. If you're into softball, just a quick plug, Oklahoma plays Texas. You got a top 5 matchup. You've got 2 versus 5.
Now, did they play the Red River rivalry?
They still did. They did 1-game series. They did Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. They did a 1-game, and Oklahoma ruled Oklahoma State. So it wasn't that good.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if the rivalry in the softball was as big as the football.
Huge. It's huge. It used to be big, but Texas, Oklahoma, this is going to be a massive, massive game.
Okay.
Yep. And Tennessee is number 1. I think they're playing. Are they playing? I think they might be playing A&M, I think, but that's another. Tennessee's ranked number 1.
Wow, the SEC dominating there.
SEC is dominating in softball. Ohio State's ranked. They're still ranked for the first time in like 147 years, what it feels like. So yeah, so there's some really big softball games going on.
Are they ranked
tonight.
Or are they ranked?
They're ranked this year.
Oh,
they used to be ranked. They used to be ranked. No, I'm sorry. Tennessee is playing Ole Miss, so it's a 1 versus 20. So it's still a top. It's still
a top
huge.
25 matchup. That's great.
Correct. It's huge. So it's good. It's a big night in this house.
It is, and the Guardians with their 3-game series.
SEC
has to be good at
something.
There it is.
Oh, boom.
That is good. No, we are going again. Got the Bo Sox in town.
Yeah.
Only one fan base as annoying as New York.
Correct.
It's Boston.
Right. We're just gonna get it out of the way now.
Yeah, just
get them all out of the way now.
Yeah. Exactly. We'll have to see what happens there. The ongoing drama of the closer situation.
Yeah.
Very interesting. But the Cavs, we got them tomorrow at 1:00.
We do.
I think everyone will be able to watch them tomorrow.
Yes. Tomorrow, everybody will be able to watch them. But tonight we do have some Celtics Magic. So Celtics are up 2-0, but Jason Tatum is out. I don't think that's going to hurt them, but the Magic they are a very aggressive team.
Oh, absolutely. And as we were discussing, and you heard the commentator saying, this is why we did not want to play Orlando.
Yeah. So guys, this is why, like, what does it matter 1 versus 2 in the East? If you're not going to get the number 1 overall seed, what does it really matter? This is why it matters, because you don't want to play some of these. You didn't want to play Orlando. Not that Orlando, I mean, Orlando doesn't have a chance against Boston. They might take one, but they play rough. So Tatum's already hurt. They said it's a very deep bruise. It's a very deep sprain on his wrist.
Right. And wasn't Jared Allen was injured in that Orlando series last year with the rib.
Yes.
And then JB called him out, and that son of a gun.
Yep.
Tough guy over there. Tommy Tough Guy.
Yeah, Tommy Tough Guy.
Tommy Tough Guy or Johnny Tough Guy? Johnny
Tough Guy.
I think it's Johnny Tough Guy over there. No, the Magic, they're a bunch of punks.
They really are, and I'm sorry for the Magic fans, but they're struggling offensively, right. But that's what happens is that when you're struggling, you start to like lash out. And who was it too that got like a bloody forehead, got a busted forehead?
I think was it Porzingis?
Maybe it was.
I saw the highlights. It was either Pritchard or Porzingis.
But there were some injuries. There are going to be some injuries here. So you just want to get out of the Celtics just want to get out of the series without getting anything catastrophically hurt.
Right. And this Tatum thing, it may not be a problem right now, but depending on how long it lingers,
right.
That's it.
Right. If it's a deep bruise, that takes a while to heal. And it's his shooting
It's his right hand.
Yeah.
That's troublesome. So
they
got a lot of weapons. And you know what though? Let's not it wasn't let's see, KP. So that's Porzingis.
Yeah, Kristaps, yeah.
Porzingis. So we shouldn't ignore this. Last night in all the commotion of the
Right. I had actually I looked at one point and OKC was losing by almost 30. It was like 27 or 29 points or something.
29 points.
And then they won. I'm sorry, they won by 6 or something like that. What happened?
Well, as far as I know, I saw some people saying that they felt that the play of OKC was a bit dirty and maybe they undercut Morant and he got taken down in the air and he got injured. He got hurt. And
right.
Oh, look at this. They blew largest lead in NBA playoffs history.
I mean, that's the thing. OKC, I'm not taking anything away from OKC. They're a very good team, but what happened? Like, was that more of an Oklahoma City won, or was it a Grizzlies loss? I feel like it was more of a Grizzlies loss than an OKC won.
Yeah, they got taken out back by a Grizzly Bear.
Correct.
And
mauled.
They did. They got mauled. They had no offense. I mean, I know Zach Edey was out there trying really hard to move side to side.
I know you hate him. I know you don't. And okay, I don't love him, but I don't get the hate either because I think he's not bad. I know he looks like Lurch from the Addams family. I almost called him the Family Addams. Yeah, I know he looks like Lurch. I did have a daiquiri at lunch.
No, it's really not a hate towards Zach Edey per se. It's just that I like to poke fun. I get it. No, they were offensively awful. Mm-hmm. They were awful. Mm-hmm. I watched the game. They could not even get a shot up. They had guys throwing up terrible shots. I mean, it was as if they had Isaac Okoro as all of their players on the floor trying to shoot threes.
Okay, he's literally in the room next to me, so I could actually hurt him. I will kick you with the shoes that he autographed that are sitting right there.
You don't want to scuff them up.
No, but I have one that I can put on and get a good kick in.
You might. You're the one-legged kicker. You're gonna walk right now. You're the
Ray Finkel over here.
Right. You're the. Oh my goodness.
So we had was there another?
The Clippers beat up on the Nuggets.
Yeah, that's what I was. So the Clippers destroyed the Nuggets. So the Clippers are up 2-1.
Is it Ty Lue Magic?
It's Ty Lue Magic.
Or is it James the Pube Harden?
It's Ty Lue Magic. They're not going to, neither of these teams are really going to, I mean, I don't think the Nuggets or the Clippers make it out of the next round, but.
I think they're going to be hard pressed.
But the Knicks won, they only won by 2. It was 118-116. So the Pistons are hanging around, but is that the JB effect? JB going to JB, and they're not going to be able to close games out. And that's usually how it went.
It did, and I'll say this,
we know that.
We do, and I think that though New York has kind of been overrated. They made that.
I agree.
They made the trade.
I completely agree.
They made the trade going into the season.
Yeah.
They get Karl Anthony Towns,
right?
But they give up DiVincenzo, who was kind of the heart there, and Julius Randle. I know he was injured sometimes, but yeah, I'm not so sure about them, and we'll see what happens. I just want them to beat each other up.
So do I. I do. You want to see these. You want to see this series be tough.
Knockdown, drag out.
Well, and then we have again the Celtics and the Magic tonight, so that's going to be another tough game tonight to watch. Pacers Bucks. I think that the Pacers, just the way that the Bucks have been playing, I feel like the Pacers are going to sweep this series. Bucks might steal one game, but I just don't think with their injuries and
even having Lillard back, Giannis is playing out of his mind.
But he's the only one. Like who else? You can't do it alone. And LeBron in the Cavs era was the prime example.
Right, they kind of have fallen off a little bit, and they've had some players get older. You move on from Chris Middleton and. Yeah. I mean, when Brooke Lopez is still out there shooting threes, you got problems.
You do. So I do think that the Pacers. I think they're going to sweep.
Right. I wouldn't mind if Milwaukee took a game from them and pushed them, because that would be nice. Give them an
extra game, and
I got to tell you, I don't want to jump the gun, but. Should it come to fruition that the Cavs play the Pacers, I don't know how I'll actually be able to watch without like some special glasses on, some sunglasses, because the court, or at least the games in Indianapolis and Indiana, that court is blinding.
It is. Well, they do it on purpose. That court is blinding, and I'm going to need to be drunk every game because that's going to be a tough series. I think and I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but that's going to be a tough series because the Pacers are playing at an elite level right now. And I was incredibly mad. Like it was really humbling to meet some of the Pacers players, because when we went to that game, I got to meet Tyrese Halliburton, and then I got to meet Miles Turner, and they were so nice. And I was so upset about that. I'm like, why can't you be jerks? Because I want to hate you. I want to hate you so bad. But they were really nice. Right. But I hate the Pacers because they're not the Cavs. Like I hate anybody that's not the Cavs. Exactly. It's not personal. It's just if you're not Cleveland.
If you're not wearing orange and brown, you don't matter.
If you're not wearing white and gold.
I saw in the sales section at one of the stores in downtown Cleveland, I think it was at Rally House.
I love Rally House.
Yeah, I picked up a shirt there yesterday. I had to get a new one to go to the draft party. I saw the one, if you're not wearing orange and brown, I saw that on the sale rack. I was like, oh, this is tempting.
I kind of want that. Yeah. I probably would have bought it.
It is. But no, I was going to say, while the Browns were pooping the bed in the draft, Evan Mobley named DPOY.
DPOY. And I'm still bitter that he didn't win Rookie of the Year. He should have been Rookie of the Year. I'll probably never.
Scotty Barnes.
Give me a break.
Get out of here.
Mobley was clear. I'm so proud to see the evolution of Mobley, and because not only is he's DPOY, but his offense has just elevated, I think, to a new level this year.
All the work is paying off, and good
coaching. Finally, but he's got a coach better suited for him.
They've just done a fantastic job getting him open and working with him. The guy has put in the work.
He's a giraffe. His legs, you guys, are anybody that doesn't know Lana, my friend Lana, and everybody follows her. She's like 4'11" or something like that. His legs is her body. It's her whole body. We're sitting there, and I'm like, you literally come up to his hip, because his legs are as tall as she is. So he's a giraffe. He's I know. And did you see Draymond was campaigning? He was actually campaigning to try to look Donkey from Shrek. Get out of here.
Exactly. And
hit the bricks.
Right. But did you see?
Go kick someone else in the testicles.
You know what? We really should thank him for punching LeBron in the nuts. That was nice. Thank you for getting suspended for a game you did.
I agree. Because that lit a fire. And then Klay Thompson calling him soft or scared.
Yeah.
Said he's scared.
Yeah.
And that was
That's
a whole other. That's a
different story. That's a different show.
Correct.
No, I think that was fantastic.
That was very exciting. And you just hope that it caps off a magical year because we play. I know we're a little over the hour, so we'll wrap it up here a little, but we play tomorrow at 1:00. And I just hope that it wraps up that magical year because there are a lot of teams in here, Oklahoma City and I don't know, I guess Denver up to a point and definitely not Houston or the Rockets, but Indy and some of these like franchises that are more blue collar.
Oh, certainly. No. And you know what? Houston, though, they haven't had, it's been a while since they've had.
No, but they're always on the map, though. You know what I mean? Like they're always talked about.
They are. They've had some horrid seasons.
They have had
to be quite frank, they've had some horrid seasons.
They have.
They missed their opportunity during that run with between the years that the Cavs and the Warriors were playing the finals. They missed their opportunity at least one of those years, and OKC missed their opportunity the year that in 2016.
Right.
So I think that you look at a team like Indiana, and Indiana.
I feel like the NBA's worst nightmare would be a Cavs Oklahoma City finals. That's the NBA's worst nightmare because you have two very small markets. And it would mean everything to like us, but no, we don't need to work. We don't need Isaac to shoot the ball. We don't need him to shoot the ball. Don't need him to shoot the ball. Keep the ball out of your hands. Keep my name out your mouth. Play defense. The only time I want to see the ball in his hands is when he has stolen the ball and he is passing it to Ty Jerome or Donovan or Darius to point it up the court.
Right. Now,
I need him to rebound. I need him to play defense.
I like that. I like that call there. Were you at all a little bit concerned on Wednesday night? I was,
Yes, I didn't have a good time on Wednesday night. I had a really good time until about middle of the fourth quarter when I saw that lead go from like 19 to 2. I think I even tweeted. I said, I'm not having a good time right now. I was not having fun.
I was in the car. I was driving along. I'm listening to Tim and Jim, and I'm stressing out.
Yep.
And there's, was...
Seinfeld reference. Are you a Seinfeld?
Of course.
Oh, I'm stressed.
I'm stressed.
Yeah.
That was just crazy stuff. But I think that, like you and I were discussing, other people have discussed it, of course. It's nice to get a challenge, but you know that you can beat them.
Yeah, it was nice to finish, just to see them finish strong. And they didn't give up. They didn't stop. They didn't quit. So that was nice. But I didn't have a good time. I wasn't having a good time.
Mike
What's Mike going on?
He nearly shat his pants.
He nearly shat his pants. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Hey, no judgment.
No
judgment. And it's the first round. I'm not going to survive this. My liver is not going to be okay. It's not going to be. My lungs probably aren't either. And you guys can figure that out with what. I'm not going to be okay.
If I had to scream as much at Sam Merrill, as I was,
Sammy has not had a terrible.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah, he didn't want you to take his shoes away from him like you had threatened.
I know exactly. I think I was yelling more at the navigation this morning when it's like, what is it?
Turn right.
Turn right.
Yeah.
I don't win. Turn right when? Get prepared to turn right. I'm prepared.
Right. Where?
Where is this right? And then I'm
recalculating.
Make a legal U-turn. It's telling me to turn left. It's a no left turn. How am I going to turn left? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Veer right.
Yeah.
Veer right. This road goes this way.
Right. Even my GPS doesn't know how to tell me how to navigate a roundabout either. A traffic circle, a roundabout, whatever you want to call those things. That's a podcast for another day.
Yeah, I think it only works if they say, "Look, Heather, Big
Go
Ben."
Straight.
No, it says, "Look, Heather, Big Ben, Parliament."
Okay, we make ourselves laugh, you guys, and for those of you who have stayed with us, we are really appreciative.
Yes, we needed that kind. Yep.
Yeah, they did, and I think it was, but I also think that that's us justifying how they shat the bed.
Yes.
Like, I think that that's us justifying. Oh, they needed a tough because
no,
it's
I
going
would
to
have
be
liked to have
different.
seen a very.
So I don't want it tough. I don't want to be tough. I want to blow them out in the first round. And basketball is a whole different beast, I think, because you do play up to the level of your competition. And as you get into the later rounds, the Cavs are talented. They don't need to prove anything. Do what you do, and go on to the next round. You know, that's and I guess it's one game at a time, though. I mean, you have to take it one game at a time, and you have to have that short-term memory.
You absolutely do. Miami clearly doesn't have as much talent on their roster, but
they're so well coached. They're so well coached. Spoelstra is arguably the best coach in the league right now, because if you look with what he's done with the rosters that he's had, they're always in the mix.
Well, I mean, he's maximized them.
Yes, he does.
He got them to the finals as an 8 seed.
Yes.
To lose to the Nuggets. And then did he not also get them to the finals against the Lakers in the bubble?
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. I forgot about that. Nobody, we don't count that.
No. Oh, Tony Brothers. I don't know. What did I miss on Tony? That moron ref. I don't know. Did I miss something?
Yeah. You did. You missed it. So I think, Mike, are you talking about the play? Okay. So Darius Garland goes to dive for a ball, and there's literally I know that 6 inches probably doesn't seem like a lot.
4 inches is fine.
Yes, you get it. But there 4 inches is a lot, Heather. So, but there was a massive gap between the ball and out of bounds. And the ref is right on top of it. And he called the ball out of bounds. So Kenny is standing right there. And he went.
Yes. Okay.
And I'm like, oh my God. And I think I had retweeted someone and I said, I will die for this man. Because he went, and then he looked right into his face and he went. So it was the equivalent of
oh my goodness.
That's what it was the equivalent of. If you guys did not see that, go check out
it's
my
all
page.
over.
Yeah, check out my page. I retweeted it.
Oh my gosh.
But look up Atkinson timeout and it'll be the first thing that comes up. It is the funniest thing I have ever seen because he was so mad. And I think some of the players actually had Donovan Mitchell retweeted that and he's like, that's my guy. Their players know that he has their back. It was the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Ever. It's an instant meme now.
It is. I had only seen that
so
video.
Good.
I didn't know what it was referring to. I was in the car and I didn't know exactly what happened. All I know is they were saying, look, don't argue with the ref. Just let it go.
Yeah. He did it. He kept his mouth shut. But if I had done that to my boss, I would have been fired because it was clearly you could see what he was saying in his head.
Exactly.
So,
oh my God.
I guess we can end.
I think we should close on that.
Yeah, that was a good way to close.
I'm going to go on a high note. I'm going on a high note. I'm out. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here on this afternoon. We are going to have a lot more coverage next week. We'll talk about the fallout or the surprises, the successes, the failures of the draft. We really won't know everything. Hey, May 14th.
May 14th, the schedule comes out. So stay tuned for that.
Hey, I'm going to give you a prediction. The Browns are going to lose more games than they're going to win.
Yeah, but Lana and Kim and I have some exciting news. Once the schedule comes out, we'll announce it. I'll tell you after.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
I am all okay. And Mike, and you have one wish and one wish only. Give me Travion tonight, please.
Please, amen.
Hey, I'll take him or
Quinshawn. I'll take either of them.
Either or.
I'm higher up on Travion, but it's one in 1A.
Yeah.
Yep.
No difference.
Either one of them, I promise you, that jersey will be in my cart. As soon as they announce their number, I'm going to have it.
I love it. I do love it.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much for everyone for tuning in.
Yep.
Heather, this has been a pleasure.
This has been great.
I don't know how to do this more often in person. Well, like as good as video technology is, we're going to have to figure something out here.
Yeah.
This is all there is to it.
Teleport.
A teleportation. I do like that. Quantum leaps or something.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, hey, everybody, have a great night. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the NFL draft and all the other sporting events.
Yeah.
And so, for Heather, I'm Ethan. And you've been tuned in to the Best Doggone podcast in the land.
Bye, guys.
Bye.